From the beginning of time, man has always had a pursuit of the best quality of life possible. That quality of life is not possible without resources. The form of resources we have accumulated has changed over time from cowrie shells, state-controlled money, precious metals, real estate, and stocks and bonds. Over the past 100 years, the world has been dominated by the US dollar and its reserves. But everything that has a beginning also has an end. A new financial revolution is upon us with the emergence of a digital economy. The way we earn, spend, and accumulate resources is fundamentally changing. A new asset has appeared that the wealthy have overlooked. Bitcoin has become the best performing asset of the past decade by far. With only 21 million ever in existence, there are more millionaires and billionaires in the world today than there are Bitcoin. Just by holding 0.25 Bitcoin today, will put you in the top 1% asset holders in the world in the next 5 to 10 years. If you had invested $100,000 in Bitcoin in 2013, today it will be worth more than $15 million. Bitcoin billionaire Raoul Pal says, Bitcoin's performance is so dominant and so all-encompassing that it is going to suck in every single asset narrative dry and spit it out. Never before in my career have I seen a trade so dominant that holding any other assets makes almost no sense. This is not an industry you can afford to ignore. If you want to remain in business, then you must adapt. Are you offering services in Bitcoin? Are you accepting payments with digital currencies? Have you adopted blockchain technology? Blockbuster Video at one point was the most dominant video service in the world. They had the opportunity to be part of Netflix, but they ignored the changing technology. Where is Blockbuster today? Where will you be tomorrow?
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Late Night Crypto Talk. My name is Brandon Ivy from Los Angeles, California. I'm the founder and CEO of Ivy League Crypto Academy, ILCA for short. And I promise you, we'll try to keep this short tonight, but we're doing a special topic about a new service that's about to hit America that is going to impact and affect every single man, woman, and child in the United States. So again, go ahead and type your name in the chat box. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestion, and it is up to you to make your own informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. So I see you, Miss Marty de Casa, ranked number 13 in the world from Colorado. I see Melissa from the UK. You are up late, Melissa. Melanie from Chicago, Facebook user. Good morning, good evening. DJ from Colorado. Jacqueline from St. Petersburg, Florida. Janelle from Colorado. Greetings from North Carolina. Martha from Cancun. Good evening from the ATL. Elton, your son is my latest hero. Picard, epic. That scene with Worf beheading what was it, Ferengi? Yeah, Ferengi? I think it was a Ferengi. He chopped his head off. Anyways, Picard. Tyrone Dukes from ATL. Good evening, Tyrone. Jamal from Pasadena. Good evening, everybody. So the topic tonight is FedNow. Type in the chat box if you are not familiar or never heard of the term really of FedNow. Either if you're not familiar with it or you never heard of the term FedNow. Type that in the chat box. I want to take a quick test because that's me. I have heard of it, but I am not familiar with it. Tonight is going to be our breakdown. I'm going to educate myself live in front of you guys and take you with me so that you can be educated at the same time. But I am not educated on this whole FedNow thing and how it's leading to or how it could lead to CBDC, central bank digital currency. All right, Janelle says, never heard of it. Martha, heard it on Crypto Talk. Yep. Tyrone, I make a video to provide some more insight and context of FedNow. Oh, you made a video on this, Tyrone? Let's see, Marnita is another one, me. So Tyrone is the only one that's really up to date, up to speed on this, because I'm not even up to speed on this. I will be after tonight. All right, so let me go ahead and share screen, and we're going to jump right into this. Let's see here, share screen, entire screen. All right. FedNow explain. Here's what you need to know. What is the FedNow service? Well, FedNow is an instant payments service being developed by the United States Federal Reserve Bank. Now, a year ago, we read the Federal Reserve's white paper, proposed white paper on digital currency. And now they're coming out with this, FedNow. The FedNow service, or FedNow for short, is designed to offer uninterrupted 24/7, 365 days processing, and will feature integrated clearing functionality, enabling financial institutions to deliver end-to-end instant payment services to their customers. So what are instant payments? Instant payments refer to any account-to-account funds transfer that allows for the immediate availability of funds to the beneficiary of the transaction. Though timings may differ from one scheme to the next, payments are often completed in a matter of seconds. For these reasons, instant payments are also commonly referred to as immediate payments or real-time payments. Some of the benefits of instant payments are their irrevocability, their ability to generate rich data, and their 24/7 availability. So how does FedNow differ from FedWire? The FedWire Funds Service is a real-time gross settlement system designed to support electronic funds transfer between banks, businesses, and government agencies. FedWire is capable of instantaneously posting and settling payments. However, FedWire has limited availability and can only process payments on designated business days and during business hours. By comparison, FedNow is not subject to nightly, weekend, or holiday restrictions. It is available all hours of the day, every day of the year. It is important to note, though, that FedNow transactions are limited to a maximum value. FedWire does not impose a limit, though one may be set by your bank. Who will be eligible to participate in FedNow? As with current Federal Reserve Bank services, the FedNow service will be available to depository institutions eligible to hold the accounts at the reserve banks under applicable federal statutes and Federal Reserve rules, policies, and procedures. Participants will be able to designate a service provider or agent to submit or receive payment instructions on their behalf. Participants will also be able to settle payments in the account of a correspondent if they choose to do so. Merchants, consumers, or non-bank payment service providers can access the service through depository institutions as they do today with other payment systems. What features are included in FedNow? In addition to round-the-clock availability and integrated clearing functionality, FedNow includes optional features based on a financial institution's desired participation type. Send and receive. Institutions that choose to send and receive will have the ability to send, receive, and return customer payments. To send and receive credit transfers from other financial institutions to support instant payment liquidity needs, to send customer-initiated requests for payments, and to opt to receive requests for payments on behalf of customers. So in essence, they're trying to do what crypto already does. Crypto allows us to do peer-to-peer instant transactions 24 hours a day. The banking world, you can't really do it that way. If you send a lot of money, you don't have instant access to it. It's like got to go through a clearinghouse. Receive only. Institutions that choose to receive only will be able to receive payments from other financial institutions to meet liquidity needs, return payments, receive and send, but not receive RFPs. Liquidity management transfers. Institutions that opt into liquidity management transfers will have the ability to complete high dollar limit credit transfers with other financial institutions at scheduled times, even when the FedWire fund service is unavailable. And settlement services. Institutions that choose to participate in settlement services will gain support for correspondent-respondent relationships. More specifically, FedNow transactions for financial institutions that use correspondents will settle in the correspondent's master account. The first release of FedNow will also include fraud prevention tools, payments, inquiry support, and a liquidity management tool. The liquidity management tool, in particular, will be available to FedNow participants and their traditional liquidity providers, as well as participants in private sector instant payment services that use a joint account at a reserve bank. Why is the Federal Reserve Bank developing FedNow? Instant payments are one of the fastest growing forms of digital payments. Wait. I'm seeing how they frame this. Instant payments are one of the fastest growing forms of digital payments. Well, are you talking about crypto? With a projected compound annual growth rate of 23.6% from 2020 to 2025. Well, if you look at crypto, it's a lot bigger than that. Best performing asset of the past decade, instant payments since 2009. Central banks in more than 50 countries have already implemented instant payment networks that support the immediate posting and settlement of funds. U.S. consumers and corporations can already access instant payments via Zelle and the RTP network. These are both privately held systems owned and operated by Early Warning Services, LLC, and the Clearinghouse, respectively. The Fed first began to explore the possibility of introducing a centrally owned and operated instant payments network in 2013 and formed the Faster Payments Task Force in 2015 to identify opportunities to implement instant payments. Okay, hold up. So I read things like a lawyer does, and I connect the dots. One, they say here, they talk about Zelle and RTP network are both privately held systems. The Federal Reserve is also a private entity. Just because it's got the word Fed in front of it doesn't mean that it's a government agency. These people are not voted in. All right. So in other words, they are the competition of Zelle and RTP. Under the guise of, oh, we're backed by the federal government. So don't get it twisted. It's important to understand intent and what's going on, because they have been putting together and getting ready for CBDCs for a long time now. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And this is, in my opinion, and just because it's my opinion doesn't mean it's a fact. It's just my opinion that this whole FedNow is just another step to getting the American population accustomed and ready for this new digital world, CBDC, separate from crypto. All right, let me continue. In its final report, published in 2017, the FPTF overwhelmingly ruled in favor of establishing a network and issued recommendations to support successful implementation. I always love it when somebody says, Brandon, you're right. I like that. Yeah, I'm right. I don't know who that is. Facebook user says that. In its final report published in 2017, the FPTF overwhelmingly ruled in favor of establishing a network and issued recommendations to support successful implementation. In 2018, that's Joyce. Thank you, Joyce. The U.S. Treasury Officer offered its official support for an instant payments network. And in 2019, the Federal Reserve Board announced that it would begin developing the FedNow service. Ultimately, the Fed is developing FedNow in the interest of enabling financial institutions of all sizes across the U.S. to provide safe and efficient instant payment services to customers. Okay, let me tell you what they really want to do. Their entire goal is to eliminate the third party, meaning the local banks, and they want to be able to transact directly with the people for the first time ever. See, no American citizen has an account with the Fed. The Fed is the bank of the banks. And what they want to do is get rid of the middleman and go straight to you where you have a direct account with the Federal Reserve. That is convenient, but is dangerous, because we're now talking about freedoms, privacy, power, their ability to know everything you purchase, when, where, how, and have the power to shut you down, shut it off. Will FedNow replace the ACH network? No. FedNow will not replace the automated clearinghouse network. Instead, it is expected to complement ACH services. That's the same thing I say when people think, is Bitcoin going to replace the dollar? No. They can still, or the digital dollar when it comes. They can operate side by side. Every nation will still have its own sovereign currency. That is the backbone of what makes a nation a nation. The moment you take that away, you don't have a country. That's why when Facebook announced their Libra a couple of years ago, the governments of the world shut them down so fast it wasn't even funny. It was like whiplash, how fast it came about and was squashed. Because the government was like, wait, hold up. Mark Zuckerberg's got 2 billion users on Facebook worldwide in every country. And he's going to create his own currency. The United States is only 400 million people. India, 1 billion plus. You mean he could basically be his own rivaled country. They shut that down real quick. Not going to happen. So this can work side by side, or this designed to work side by side with the ACH for now. But I'm going to tell you what's going to get rid of this ACH is the digital dollar. There won't be any ACH anymore. A bit of background. ACH is a US-based electronic funds transfer network for consumers, businesses, and federal, state, and local governments. It is commonly used to complete direct deposit and direct payment transactions. You see that? I told you that they're practicing this. I showed you guys this before. This is a debit card from the state of California, not a bank. So when COVID hit and they decided to do the stimulus checks, or even this year, I'm curious what they do this year, tax returns, unemployment, stimulus checks, tax credit for the middle class, or not tax credit, but earned income credit, whatever they want to call it. Back in the day, you either got a check in the mail or you would have direct deposit into your bank, ACH. But the government did something different the last few years. Instead of doing a direct deposit in your bank, they sent you some form of like a government debit card like this, and they put the money on that card. Now you could use that, it's a Visa card, you can use it at the ATM machine, or you can go inside the bank and they will transfer from that account to your bank account. You choose. But the fact is, they're not doing direct deposit. I always said, you guys, I've been doing crypto talks now for like 5 years. You've heard me talk about, I always believe COVID was a dry test run. Never let a good crisis going to raise, whether COVID was an accident or on purpose. They took advantage of it, and we're seeing this. So this is going to end up going away. It is commonly used. ACH transfers typically take anywhere from 1 to 3 business days to complete. The National Automated Clearinghouse Association. So in other words, if you got your direct deposit on a Friday, it's supposed to hit, you can't access the account until probably Tuesday of the next week. What if you got it instantly? You got paid instantly, and you can use that money and spend it instantly. Crypto already does that, but the government is putting this. So the National Automated Clearinghouse Associations, or NACHA, the organization responsible for ACH governance, introduced same-day ACH in 2016. As its name implies, same-day ACH posts and settles payments the same day that they're initiated. But you got to pay extra to do that. Like, even if, let's say somebody sends you money through Cash App, and you want to send that from your Cash App to your bank, it takes what, 2 or 3 days? But you can click instantly and pay like $12 or something to have it instantly to your account, but you got to pay that fee. What if you didn't have to pay that fee? That's how they make their money. It's not like they don't have the technology to make it happen. This is just how they have figured out how to put more fees to get more money out of you. So for this reason, same-day ACH is considered a faster payment system rather than an instant payment system. It just costs more money. Rather than replace ACH or same-day ACH, FedNow is expected to provide greater redundancy for payment operations, thereby preventing any potential payment network bottlenecks. In the longer term, the Fed intends to establish payments interoperability between FedNow and ACH. So just like most people don't write checks anymore, or most people don't get traveler's checks, you're going to be saying goodbye to ACH. That's going to be old, foreign. So what does a FedNow payments flow look like? All right, you got a payer bank and the payee bank. Send money to the payer bank. The payee bank you receive from the payee bank. Transfer funds from payer bank to payee bank, both approved. FedNow, they have a payment flow. So this is the flow chart. Happens instantly. A FedNow payments flow is similar to any other instant payments flow, starting with the parties involved: a payer, the payee's financial institution, the FedNow network, a payee, and the payee's financial institution. The general process is as follows. A payer initiates a payment by sending a payments message to their financial institution through an end user interface outside of FedNow. The payer's financial institution receives the payments instruction, and provided the payer has sufficient funds in their account, authorizes the transaction. The payer's financial institution then submits a payment message to the FedNow service. FedNow validates the payments message. Those of you in crypto, you hear us talking about nodes, you know what we talk about by validate. See, if this was a crypto service, that FedNow would be a node. Okay, I've been doing a series talking about nodes can make you rich because all the transactions are flowing through the nodes. So this is a good example on how the real world is kind of doing the same thing. FedNow is like the node. So FedNow validates the payment message and sends the contents of that message onto the payee's financial institution. So FedNow gets the information that one person wants to send money. They tell the bank, send money to another institution. The bank says, okay, let the FedNow know to validate that this transaction is happening. The FedNow is the one that is the intermediary between the banks. So the FedNow then initiates the transfer to the receiving bank. Let's see, FedNow validates the payments. The payee's financial institution sends a message sends a response to FedNow, either accepting or rejecting the payments method. or message. If the payee's financial institution rejects the message, FedNow will notify the payer's financial institution of payment's failure. If the payee's financial institution accepts the message, FedNow automatically deducts the funds from the payer's account and posts them to the payee's account. FedNow notifies all parties of the successful transfer of funds and the transaction is complete. Does this kind of sound like the flow of crypto? So in crypto, you have a payer, you, and you want to send crypto to another person. What do? You go to your wallet, which here case would be the bank. You would say, I want to send crypto to this address. You don't need the FedNow though. All you need is the address of the person who has their wallet. So you put their address in your wallet, you send the funds. But then it goes through the blockchain because now it needs to be verified and validated, aka nodes. So it goes through the blockchain, gets validated by multiple blockchain holders, node holders. Once it's validated, you only need 3 in Bitcoin's case. Then the funds are sent directly to the payee's bank. This can happen in a matter of seconds, or to the payee's wallet, whoever you're sending it to. And it's all been verified in the blockchain. The nodes as validating the transactions. But there's no middleman here. It's a program as far as crypto is concerned. Do you guys understand the difference? It's the same, kind of the same thing what they're trying to do here. Except one's centralized and crypto is decentralized. How will financial institutions benefit from FedNow? Here's my only problem with this. What if FedNow decides, hey, we've been monitoring your account and you know, we don't approve of you doing this purchase. What do you mean? Well, we don't think that you should be buying guns. We don't think that you should be buying bullets. We don't think that you should be buying a big flat screen TV when your credit score is below 500. You see where I'm going with this? Now, that's not so much the FedNow, but it will be with the CBDC. How will financial institutions benefit from FedNow? The Fed's announcement of its plans to launch the FedNow service has generated positive reactions in the industry, with the general consensus that the new service will be a positive driver for faster instant payments adoption in the market. FedNow is expected to make instant payments technology accessible to a wider audience, including smaller community banks, thereby increasing equitable access for all businesses and individuals. So this goes along with the plan that the Fed is trying to get directly to the people. Reduce overall payment processing costs for banks and other non-bank financial institutions. Provide individuals with instant access to paychecks and other electronic fund transfer for improved cash flow management. So for those of you that get paid on the 1st and the 15th, you have access to that money immediately. Not you get paid on Friday, you can't touch it till Monday. Optimize liquidity management and cash flow forecast. Even let's say you are a renter and you're now getting your rent paid to you through the FedNow system. You don't have to wait 3 or 4 or 5 days to access that money. When it's done, it's instant. Reduce overall payment processing costs for banks and other non-bank financial institutions. Provide individuals with instant access to paychecks and other electronic fund transfers for improved cash flow management. Optimize liquidity management and cash flow forecasting for businesses, enabling them to better manage operational expenses and maintain positive vendor relationships. Conform to the new ISO. Ooh, we briefly talked about this in Crypto Talk maybe a couple months ago. This new ISO 222 standard, enabling participants to send and receive rich data, including non-value message types and RFP messages. Promote instant payment security through the development of industry-wide standards for disputing fraudulent transfers, ISO 20022 conformity, and the use of payments authentication. So how is FedNow being rolled out? As of March 15th, that's today, 2023, the FedNow announced the FedNow service will start operating in July 2025. No, we're not talking about years from now. We're not even talking about a year from now. We're talking about July of this year, my birthday, in a couple of months. The service will roll out in stages. The initial launch will include core clearing and settlement functionality, request for pay capability and tools to support reconciliation. In preparation for its target release date, the Fed has asked more than 110 organizations, including ACI Worldwide, to participate in its FedNow pilot program. So when I say things, this whole financial change, this financial revolution is happening without your permission. It's happening without your even knowledge in most cases. I tell you right now, 90% of Americans have never even heard of the term FedNow. Yet it's going to impact everybody. 110 organizations is organizations that most people are already involved in. The organization you are doing, just what I say in crypto, blockchain technology, it's going to happen whether you like it or not. Your opinion is irrelevant. What you believe is irrelevant. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat is irrelevant. Whether you think it's the mark of the beast or not, or is the devil and Satan itself, is irrelevant. This is going to happen, and you are either going to adapt and become Netflix, or you're going to end up being Blockbuster Video. As a program participant, ACI will help shape FedNow's future, our features and functions, provide input into the overall user experience, and ensure readiness for testing, all of which will help define FedNow's service and adoption roadmap, industry readiness approaches, and overall instant payments strategy. They're not asking your permission for this. This is happening. Now, if I go to their homepage for FedNow, the Federal Reserve, frbservices.org. Now, what I find very interesting is they've created an entire organization for their crypto side, and now they have one for their fiat side. The largest bank in the world right now, JP Morgan Chase, has an entire division geared towards just their CBDC. All right, it's the future. So this is the frbservices.org, the Federal Reserve Services application, service status, National Settlement Service, ACH, accounting, financial services home, instant payments, launching July 2023. Find instant payments education on FedNow. Engage with us. Sign up for FedNow News. Connect with your relationship manager to get your questions answered. And you got all of this. Treasury services, financial services, central bank, forms, resources, education, news about. This site is the product of the Federal Reserve banks. Then I wanted to look at this. A piece from AP News. Federal Reserve's payment service, FedNow, would not replace cash. No, it doesn't need to, because they already got something that will, which is the digital dollar. So was that, Daryl? It's interesting that the timing is when the world is looking at disconnecting themselves from the dollar. Isn't that true? Has the Fed known this was going to happen all along? Yes. Yes. Not only did they know this was going to happen, in my opinion, they're helping to facilitate it. They've been preparing for this since they took the dollar off the gold standard in 1971. They knew that that is a unsustainable system, and at some point it's going to come crashing down. Why now? Is because now we now have the technology to make it happen. That's why it's allowed to happen. All right, the claim. The Federal Reserve is launching a digital currency app, FedNow, that will eliminate physical cash. That's not true. The FedNow is not going to eliminate cash. That's what the digital dollar will do. AP's assessment, false. The Federal Reserve's FedNow is a service that allows banks and credit unions to transfer funds more quickly. It's not a form of currency, nor is it a move towards eliminating cash. FedNow is a service that has been in the works since 2019 and will launch in July 2023. In my opinion, the FedNow has been in the works much longer than 2019. This might have been when they publicly announced that they were working on it, but this has been in the works, in my opinion, for decades. In recent days, social media users have misrepresented the service, claiming it is a step towards getting rid of physical money and having digital currency. In response to the misinformation and confusion, the Federal Reserve on Friday tweeted part of its FAQ section relating to the service, reiterating that FedNow is not a form of currency, nor is it moving towards eliminating cash. Should have already, I had this bookmark somewhere and I forgot where, but I'm going to pull this up. Federal Reserve proposed digital dollar white paper. Potentially for a future. Let's see this. Which one is it? I'm making a point here. No, that's not what I was looking for. Related information. Federal Reserve releases discussion paper that examines pros and cons. I want the actual paper. Here it is. Money and payments. The US dollar of the digital age. To fully evaluate this in the PDF. You know, they got this thing freaking buried. Here it is. We read this last year. And this is eye-opening. I gotta pull up another day. I'm gonna read this. See, I do have it bookmarked. Well, I'm gonna read this again. This is completely eye-opening. So the reason why I pulled this up, if the Federal Reserve themselves have already written a 40-page layout of the US dollar in the age of digital transformation, and they're going to be bringing out the digital dollar, and then at the same time, they're coming out with the FedNow service, and they're saying in this FAQs, close, if they're saying, oh, don't worry, it's not going to replace the digital the US dollar, but they already are coming out with something that is going to replace the US dollar, and they control both systems. What does that tell you? I never listen to what they say. I follow what they do. So let's continue this here. They say this has been in the works since 2019. No, it has not. And look, and then they released this January 2022. This has been in the works for a very long time. All right, let's go back. Let's see, tweeted FAQ. They say it is not, nor is it moving towards eliminating cash. Yes, it is. Instead, it is a payment service that will be available to banks and credit unions. Yeah, but you're going to get rid of the banks and the credit unions. You started that a couple of weeks ago. That's why Silicon Valley Bank all of a sudden, why does, think about this, why did Silicon Valley Bank, what did they just say here? No, 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 it's not going to eliminate cash. You're still going to be using your local banks and credit unions, but then they decide to increase interest rates that they know would immediately impact the government bonds that they sold to the regional banks. They knew it was going to raise that interest rate. They knew it would cause a liquidity crunch on the banks, and the banks would have to get bailed out or go out of business. Therefore, it's like a hostile takeover. They created the problem, and then they're creating a solution to a problem that they created. This is all BS right here. Instead, it's a payment service that will be available to banks and credit unions, enabling them to speed up the process of checks and electronic payments. And then they turned around and said, well, the reason why SVB Bank failed was because, not because of what we did, because we didn't think a run on the bank was going to happen the way it did, where $40 billion was removed on a Saturday. Banking hours is Monday through Friday mostly. And it happened without people running to the bank. They all used their phones. Online banking. You don't need to have a run on the bank physically anymore. And they knew that would happen. This is one of the biggest con games in modern history that's been done legally. This is legalized extortion. Let's see. This will mean people can access their paychecks and transfer money to other accounts instantly, any time of the day or week. Now, that is convenient. I'm not saying that's not a good thing. I am challenging their motive. Currently, these processes can take up to 3 days. Now, why does it take up to 3 days? Because they throw fees, they put together an infrastructure where they're making billions and trillions of dollars off the fees. It doesn't have to take 3 days. It's done that way on purpose. So they created the system, and then they're going to turn around and say, but we're going to fix the system that we created. Now, why would they eliminate a system that has kept them rich for a century and replace it with something that is not going to make them rich? Or is it? Because they have a bigger goal in mind here. I hate to think skeptically all the time, but I do. I never believe that they have the best interest of the people in mind. If you believe that shit, oh, excuse my language. If you believe that, this is a setup. So as an investor, I got to look at what is the end game. So you got to ask yourself too, if they're trying to make it easier for you to get instant money and they're eliminating the current system that they're able to create all these fees from that benefits them, what are they getting out of this? Don't think that, oh, it's convenient for me. What are they getting out of this? I like that question Jamal Henry just asked there. Is there anything we can do outside of this? Like, what's the next move? Absolutely. Stay tuned. I'm going to bring that up in a second. Options. It's because the wealthy people are already doing it. So FedNow has nothing to do with replacing cash. It is an upgrade to the decades-old payment system. So here's what I'm saying about this. If they are already writing a paper and creating the digital dollar, which goes live this summer in pilot programs, then why do you need to have a FedNow system? If the digital dollar is released, that makes the FedNow obsolete. Why do you need the FedNow system if you're about to release the digital dollar? That's why I said, no, this is BS. They're trying to they're setting you up for the kill. So let's see here. Note that banks use a service. It will make payments faster, resulting in fewer overdraft fees, late fees, and visits to check cashers. So if you don't have visits to check cashers, why do you need to hire a check cashier anymore? If you're eliminating overdraft fees and late fees, that is the bread and butter of the banking world. That's how they make their money. So why are the banks not fighting this? The banks should be going all in on against this FedNow system. They want more fees, not less fees. So what is the end game? Why are they doing this? Many countries already have real-time payment systems similar to FedNow, including England. The US already has a real-time payment network, but it's run by private banks. The Fed is separately researching the potential to issue a digital currency. Separately researching the potential to use a digital currency, commonly referred to as a CBDC. Yet that research is in its early phases. No, it is not. Why are you lying to this is the AP. Really? I got to fact check the AP. This is not early stages. This is a declaration of what is happening, whether you like it or not. The banks aren't stupid either. JP Morgan. Hold on, let me pull up something here. Where did I save it? Okay, let me see where I got here. Courses. CBDC white paper. There it is. But that's not the one I'm looking for. The JP Morgan one. To the metaverse. This payments giant Swift. Opportunities in the metaverse. Here we go. Look at this right here. 17 pages from JP Morgan. They created a company called Onyx. The elements of a new digital age are converging at scale. The metaverse is the driving force, bringing these elements together in a unified, immersive experience. Metaverse offers opportunity to transact 54 billion, socialize 60 billion, create 80 million, own 41 billion. 200 strategic partnerships to date with the sandbox, including Warner Music Group to launch a music-themed virtual world. This is a bank. They're getting this. You guys saw I did a Starvar presentation Thursday night. Web 2.0, Web 3.0. Look at what they put here. Second Life, Roblox, Fortnite, World of Warcraft, Web 2.0, Web 3.0, Decentraland, Sandbox, Somnium Space, Crypto Voxels, Starvara. The banks are already getting prepared for this. The metaverse isn't just about gaming. Why metaverse? Why now? From a social perspective, the development of more immersive virtual experiences is helping people to build communities based on shared values and to express themselves in more authentic ways. They call something the metanomics. Now, again, this is a bank that is looking at this technology, digital currency, metaverse world, from DeFi to DAO. DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. The bank is centralized. Why is the largest bank in the world talking about DeFi, decentralized finance, and DAOs? Why? Because of the money that's there. Again, you guys saw me talking about Starvara and the money opportunity. Look at this. This is the bank that's already looking at the potential of money making here. From the gaming industry, 18.41 billion in-game ad spending is set to reach 18.41 billion by 2027. 18.41 billion. So if there is any project that has a focus on the metaverse, on gaming, on banking, you want to be a part of it. Why do you think I'm in Starvara? Why do I care about it? If the banks care about this space and the banks have all the money and we want money, then we need to pay attention to what they're paying attention to. This is crazy. I got to use this even more. One of the great possibilities of the metaverse is that it will massively expand access to the marketplace for consumers from emerging and frontier economies. People that, I'm not a gamer. Look at this. This is the JP Morgan team explores in Decentraland. Are you kidding me? I'm going to have to do another read of this all over again. They're already looking at workforce of the future. And they're asking, what is your metaverse strategy? Some key questions to consider. How would your business model and the overall organization be impacted if there was more time spent interacting, transacting, and socializing in virtual worlds? You might say, well, Brandon, you're talking about FedNow, now you're going to the metaverse. This is where this is all leading to. Look at this one. Our approach to the metaverse, Onyx by JP Morgan. The success of building and scaling in the metaverse is dependent on having a robust and flexible financial ecosystem that will allow users to seamlessly connect between the physical and virtual worlds. Our approach to payments, this is why I'm talking about it right now. Our approach to payments and financial infrastructure will allow that interoperability to grow. We believe the existing virtual gaming landscape, Starvara. If you're sitting there, you're seeing me making all these posts about Starvara, you're looking like, I don't know what Brandon's doing over there. I'm trying to be a billionaire. That's what I'm doing over here. And you're watching. Each virtual world with its own population, gross domestic product, in-game currency, and digital assets. You think a video game wrote this. This is the bank, has elements that parallel the existing global economy. This is where our long-standing core competencies in cross-border payments, foreign exchange, financial assets creation, trading and safekeeping, in addition to our at-scale consumer foothold, can play a major role in the metaverse. We, JP Morgan, are building and scaling new emerging technologies to modernize infrastructure and business models, including, but not limited to, tokenization and digital identity, as we strive for perpetual innovation and better ways to organize financial transactions and payments in the decentralized web. And if the largest banks are doing this, the Federal Reserve is not stupid either. That's why they came out with this. Money and payments, the dollar in the digital age. So the Fed is saying, wait, if the private banks and businesses is moving to this virtual space, this metaverse space, this digital economy, we have to do it as well so that we can control it. So now they've got a 40-page report on digitizing the dollar. Say goodbye to this. Don't believe this crap about the FedNow is not going to do. It is all a setup. CBDC. Potential benefits of the CBDC. Potential risks. This report even breaks down what money really is. Most Americans don't know what money is. They think it's they go to work, they get paid, and they use that money to pay their bills. That's not real money. There's three forms of money. The real money people don't have access to. Let me go back to this AP deal here. So they're saying the Fed is separately researching the potential to issue a digital currency, commonly referred to as a central bank digital currency, or CBDC. Yet, that research is in its early phases. No, it is not. A central bank digital currency will potentially allow Americans to make electronic transactions. So can you imagine this? They've got the FedNow in place. That is the system that everybody will be using to do instant payments. Then they launched the digital dollar. They control the FedNow and they control the digital dollar at the same time. That's a monopoly. That's control. And Americans have no idea this is even taking place. At the same time as the world is undergoing a process called de-dollarization. The BRICS nations are going to create their own currency backed by gold and remove the US dollar as a world reserve currency. If you don't see the writing on the wall right now, let me keep reading this because I'm going to give a solution. This is, I can't say that it's crazy, but it is. That's right. The world money changers are going to make big moves, and majority of people will not even know what's happening. William Clark is absolutely correct. Everybody is still stuck in the matrix. They have no idea what's going on. A central bank digital currency would potentially allow Americans to make electronic transactions without relying on a third party, such as a bank. You see right there, their whole goal is to eliminate the banks as we know it, and not in our benefit. Fed Chair Jerome Powell has said that the Fed would seek congressional authorization before taking such a step. False. That's a dog and pony show. The decision has already been made, because here's what's going to happen. And this is a little bit, those of you who attend the crypto storm is coming. There's going to be a crisis, whether man-made or natural, where the people are going to be screaming for a solution, and the Fed's going to swoop in and say, we got one. And we're going to willingly accept it because we have no other choice. So this, oh, we're going to seek congressional approval. Please. They already made the decision. Last year, social media users spread similar false claims about an executive order Biden signed in March 2022, urging the Federal Reserve to consider whether the central bank should create a CBDC. The order directed the Treasury Department and other federal agencies to study the impact of cryptocurrency on financial stability and national security. The only reason why you're hearing about this stuff publicly is to get, it's like planting seeds, getting the public kind of aware of hearing this. Yeah, I kind of heard something about that. Is that what they were talking about? So it doesn't seem like you just got blindsided. The Federal Reserve has made no decision, false, on issuing a central bank digital currency, and would not do so without clear support from Congress. They don't need it. Again, the Federal Reserve is a private organization, and they're our central bank. They don't need support from Congress. Is Congress the ones? Let me ask you guys this question. Does Congress vote on raising interest rates or not? Is that power within Congress? No. It's an executive branch, not legislative. This is when you have an uneducated populace, you can rob them blind. This is why I say education is key. Education is everything. So let me go back to the question that who asked that question again? What can we do about this? Is there anything that can be done? Yes. Jim Rohn says that the goal is to build a financial wall around your family so high that nothing can penetrate it. That's the goal. So that means each and every one of you is still in a decision to make decisions. The first decision that you can do is to get financially educated from wherever means. If you've only gotten financial education because you went to the US school system, you are not financially educated. You got to do it outside of what the school has taught you. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. You're an investor. This is the book I'm rereading. What would the Rockefellers do? How to maintain wealth in your family for generations and centuries, so that no matter what the economy does, no matter how money changes, you and your family still stay on top. All the richest families in the world, when this whole digital thing takes place and the dollar collapses, will still be wealthy because they've leveraged themselves. They've moved their wealth from one form to another. And the future is crypto. Blockchain technology, whether you like it or not. I don't care who you are, what your opinion is. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just telling you it's going to happen. And time will tell, and it will prove that I'm right. I'm watching all the tea leaves. I'm watching the movements from the banks, from the governments, from the the Federal Reserve, from large businesses. We see the writing on the wall, where everything is heading to. The river of money is flowing in a certain direction. Get involved in investments and be diversified outside of the US dollar. Gold, silver, precious metals, crypto, even other forms of currency in other worlds. Like, it will be smart. If BRICS comes out with their own currency, you want to get your hands on that currency. For 80 plus years, the world has been buying US debt. Even though China has their own currency, Russia has their own currency, they all were always buying US dollars. For the first time ever, Americans are going to have to be faced with doing the same thing. Except now, besides having the US dollar, we're going to need to be buying other currency to maintain our value, our wealth. Don't have all your money in the banks. Only have enough money in a bank to pay your bills and your living expenses. Your bank should not be your store of value, because by having money in a bank, you're losing money every single day. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I am only sharing my opinion, and my opinion doesn't mean that it's fact. I could be wrong. But if I'm wrong, at least I will still be prepared. If I'm right, I'm living good. Either way, it doesn't hurt me to be prepared. But starting with your education, get with the community that's talking about this. If you're in a community right now, all you're talking about is what you're going to be doing this weekend, and what was the game on basketball last week, or what was a good TV show that you just watched, talking a bunch of nonsense, then you're out of the loop. If you're involved with like the ILCA community, where this is all we do, this is all we talk about, now you're getting information that the average person does not get. And you're able to make the right decisions and the right movements based on that information that's best for you. We don't tell you what to do. All we're doing is open up the door that you can walk through it. How do you get educated? I don't charge you. To get started, you can go to the 5-day challenge for free. In fact, 9 days from now is the next 5-day challenge. ILCAchallenge.com registered. It doesn't cost you anything to get registered, to get your foot in the door, to start learning. You need to have your family and friends also learning at the same time as you. Because if you're the only one learning, you get yourself prepared, then when shit hits the fan, everybody you know is going to be coming to you, asking for help. Wouldn't it be better that they're in a good position with you? So at least start to learn about this. 5-day challenge doesn't cost you anything except an hour a night of your time for 5 days. And then from there, you can decide if you want to be a part of any other stuff that we do in the ILCA community, like my daily crypto talks that I do. So we're talking about this every day. We're finding new information, new news every day. Get involved with projects that you can make money. I don't care what it is. There's only one thing right now. I came out of retirement. It's the Star Horizon Project. Because what they're doing is exactly what JP Morgan is talking about here. If they're moving in this direction, I need to move in this direction. Opportunities in the metaverse. I cannot afford to put my nose up to it because I don't understand what's going on. Everything we do is recorded right now, social media. So my grandkids and great grandkids will know that daddy was on some BS when he had an opportunity to be involved in this stuff in the early days. The early adopters are the ones that create generational wealth for their families, not the Johnny come latelys or the skeptics or the critics. It's the ones who take a risk when nothing is guaranteed. So a lot of people out there will only move if something is guaranteed on something because you're afraid to lose. You cannot be afraid to lose. You have got to be able to get out there and take risk on some new emerging technology and help pave the way, knowing that not everything's going to be a hit. But you only need one that can change your life. You only need one. And that's what we are always on the hunt for. Just that one. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight. I know I got hyped at the end here because it was a year since I looked at this report here. And it coincides exactly with what we're doing. So it lets me know we're on the right page. We're going in the right direction. And I don't need to convince anybody either. Either you get it or you don't. I'm not in the convincing business. You're either going to participate or you're going to watch. But it's going to happen. All right, with that is it. For those of you who say, well, Brandon, yeah, I want to, give me an opportunity. Outside of ILCA, I want an opportunity. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, same time as tonight, I will be reading the light paper of a metaverse project that is doing exactly what JP Morgan Bank is talking about here. You can choose to be a part of it or you can choose to watch it. But I'm going to be reading the light paper on that tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It will be streamed live publicly. So if you're watching me on one of the Facebook groups or YouTube or Twitter, you can do the same thing tomorrow. Or we have let me post that link. Let's see here. I have a direct link. Oh, I'm streaming in so many places. You're not gonna see if I make this post. Only those on YouTube will get it. But send me a private message, and I will give you the link. Or you can get to my personal assistant, Miss Marnita Casa. She will get you the link. Oh yeah, it only posted to YouTube and Twitter. Oh, I did. ILCA community group too. It posted to. Now we'll get you the direct link so you can watch on StreamYard tomorrow night. Same time here, same place, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. What you should not do, if you choose, no, I don't want to be involved in anything that Brandon's going on, that's fine. But do something. What should not be an option is if you do nothing. You know, the good news and the bad news about you being here with me tonight is the good news is that you learned this information. The bad news is that you now know this information. And now it's up to you to do something with it. If you choose to do nothing, shame on you. It's one thing to be ignorant and say, wow, I didn't even have an opportunity. It's another to know about the opportunity and still take no action. As I showed you before, even with FedNow, nodes can make you rich. Where's that flow chart? Nodes can make you rich. I'm involved with 7 projects that have nodes. This would be the version of nodes for FedNow. Got to get your hands on them. All right, everybody, that is it. I'm out, and I will see you all tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Take care. Bye-bye.